that is going to be hooked up to the cold side of your water heater, and as your heater heats up the water and it expands, it will be allowed to fill that bladder and push against that compressed air. And that compressed air provides an equilibrium so that the water flows into the tank but doesn't completely fill it. So it's really important that the air pressure at the top of this be maintained in the correct range, otherwise these tanks can fail. Well, what happens when they fail? Well, the bladder inside there can rupture, which will let water flow in and fill up the entire tank, and then it's not doing you any good, and you're just putting all that extra pressure and stress on your heating system like you were without a tank in the first place. So how can you tell when one of these things has failed? Well, for most people, the first telltale sign that you've got a problem with your expansion tank is actually leaks coming out of your temperature and pressure valve, or your T&P. Now, I did a whole video all about T&P valves. I'll link to it right up here. But even if you've replaced a T&P and it's brand new and working properly, it will leak if your expansion tank is malfunctioning. Alright, I've yammered on enough about what these things are for and why you need one. Let me show you how to test it properly and how to replace one when it's failed. As I mentioned before, the air pressure in this tank needs to match the pressure of your water supply. And so the first thing I'm going to do is measure the pressure of my water supply using this pressure gauge. Be sure when you measure the pressure that you do it on a hose bib or some other fixture that does not have any pressure reducing valves installed. And it might be a little hard to read here, but my pressure is reading at about 75 psi, so that's what I'm going to aim for in my expansion tank. Now, I mentioned before that one of the telltale signs that you have a failed expansion tank is that your T&P valve is going to leak. And typically this will happen during the heat cycle of your heater. So it won't be a steady slow drip all the time. It will just happen when somebody has just finished taking a shower, or when you run a load of laundry and you're just reheating all the water in the tank. This bucket here is filled with about 2 weeks or so worth of slow leaks that are happening only when somebody actually uses the hot water in my home. So in order to accurately measure the pressure in this tank, the first thing we need to do is depressurize the water side of the system. So we're going to turn off our cold water